Hola, that's better. Buenos dias. Good morning. My name is Adeline Marchini. My pronouns are she, her, and I serve gratefully as president of the Board of Trustees. Mi nombre es Adelina Marchini. Mis pronombres son ella, y sirvo con gratitud como presidente de su junta directiva. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Welcome to everyone on our virtual campus. Welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Avenue church campus. Welcome to everyone savoring the service later on Facebook or YouTube. We are one congregation in many places. Somos una congregación en muchos lugares. A land acknowledgement is a traditional custom that dates back centuries in many Native nations and communities. Today, land acknowledgements are used by Native peoples and non-Natives to recognize Indigenous peoples who are the original stewards of the lands on which we now live. We respectfully acknowledge the Yokuts people whose ancestral homelands we built our Alluvial Avenue church campus. We also acknowledge the many different Indigenous ancestral homelands that make up our virtual campus. This month's worship theme is the Path of Delight. Today, I am delighted to welcome you to our beloved high school senior bridging service, during which our high school seniors, Emma and Nicholas, will step out of their childhood and cross into their young adulthood. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you, no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. We welcome you and your neurodiversity. We welcome you no matter your level of formal education, the amount of money in your bank account, or your disabilities. This is a safe spiritual place for those of us who are lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, questioning, or straight. You are welcome with or without documentation. Son bienvenidos con papeles y sin papeles. All are welcome here. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our virtual campus and want to include your joys, sorrows, concerns, or gratitude in today's service, just text them to us at 559-209-4977. But you have to do it right now, so we have time to gather them to share later in the service. Be sure to text your name as well so we know who you are. Now, in our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary, in the chat box, or in the silence of our hearts, let's take a moment to say buenos dias and greet one another.
Let the sound of the tingsha take each of us to that place within that knows that we are good and knows that we are loved.
I'm 15 for a moment, caught in between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. I'm 22 for a moment, and she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose. 15, there's never a wish better than this. Only got 100 years to live. I'm 33 for a moment. I'm still the man, but you see I'm a they, a kid on the way, family on my mind. I'm 45 for a moment. The sea is high and I'm leading into a crisis, chasing the years of my life. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose yourself within a morning star. 15, I'm all right with you. 15, there's never a wish better than this. When you've only got 100 years to live. After Sunday spice, suddenly you're wise. Another blink of an eye, 67 is gone. The sun's getting high, you're moving on. I'm 99 for a moment. I'm dying just for another moment. I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. 15, there's still time for you. 22, I feel her too. 33, you're on the way. Every day's a new day. Better than this, when you've only got 100 years to live.
Good morning and buenos dias to those both here on our physical campus and those joining us on our virtual campus online. Mi nombre es Emily Kaisinga. My name is Emily Kaisinga, and I use she, her pronouns. I serve gratefully as a member of the worship arts team and am honored to be your worship associate this morning. We will share in the lighting of our chalice in just a moment, so those of you at home may want to bring a candle or a chalice close by. This morning, we celebrate 2 of our wonderful youth from our congregation as they begin crossing the bridge from their high school experience into young adulthood. The bridging ceremony is a treasured and sacred ritual in Unitarian Universalism, one which allows us to think intentionally about how to support our youth into a major life transition. This transition into adulthood brings many mixed emotions for both the individual and their families. There is nostalgia, pride, joy, sadness, and perhaps even fear about leaping into the unknown of the future. Emma and Nicholas, I have sat in the seats that you are in, being raised in this congregation, and then transitioning into adulthood as part of this congregation. I hope you never lose sight of what an honor it was to be raised in this place, among so many loving and inspiring individuals. Oh, the first of many today, I'm sure. And I hope that we never lose sight of what an honor it was to watch you grow and share your many gifts with us over the years. And that we help you continue to feel welcome here anytime you choose to grace us with your presence. I can say from my own experience that this congregation shaped me as a person and continues to shape me as I draw on the love and care it has to offer. The principles of this faith have served me well as I've aspired to grow into the best version of myself. There are many, many mentors and friends to be found within these walls, and they will always be here to lean on if you need them. There are so many lessons to be learned and words to be inspired by. This is truly a remarkable place to grow up, and I'm so glad that you've been privileged enough to share that experience. May you continue to feel our love as you enter this next chapter. As we light our chalice this morning, may we reflect on the ways in which we can surround each other in love and care when we enter this space, and send particular love to Nicholas and Emma and their families as they embark on the next chapter full of so many different feelings swirling around all at once. If you're on the virtual campus, would you please join Tim in lighting the chalice in the sanctuary of your home or your heart? Let us now rise in body or spirit and join in singing our song of praise, Fire of Commitment.
Light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
I invite us to remain standing as we say together the words of our mission. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. So it was over a year ago that our congregation voted to adopt an eighth principle, adding that to our beloved 7 principles. That eighth principle challenged us as individuals, but also as a congregation, to look at the legacy of white supremacy culture and how we as individuals and as a collective group and church continue within those practices that are so ingrained in this country. Part of that exploration has been taking place on Sunday mornings. The Mosaic Makers team has invited us to read an article about white supremacy culture that's available on our social justice table. And today we have a reflection, a very brief reflection from our virtual campus, Laurie Tiedemann-Jones.
Hi, my name's Laurie Tiedemann-Jones, and my pronouns are she, her. I read the article about white supremacist behavior, and the word that came to me immediately was urgency. And I've seen it throughout my life. I was at, an example is I was at Fresno City College. They had a Latino faculty and staff association. I became a member because friends invited me, but also they had really good parties, and I really love the advocacy that they did for students and staff. So when I switched to Reedley College, it was like, whoa, no brainer. It needs to happen there. And so I went with a sense of urgency to find out how to make that happen. I engaged one Latina friend, but really forged forward. It is still going to this day, but there was a tremendous amount of struggle and alienation and conflict before we pulled it all together. And that came out of my not pausing, listening, understanding, and then allowing those who really need and want the power to move forward. That's true empowerment, and the urgency is the opposite of that. And so throughout my life, I have struggled, but tried to stop, pause, listen, and understand, then support.
Into the beautiful space created by Laurie's honesty, I invite us to take in a centering breath, breathing in peace, breathing out love. Another breath in, imagining we're breathing in peace into every tired cell of our body. We hold a moment, we breathe out love. One more time. Breathing in peace. We hold a moment. we breathe out love. As we continue breathing together in this sacred space that is truly made holy by our presence and by the beauty of our beating hearts, allow your imagination to just carry you back as you breathe over the last week, the last 7 days. What occurred? What lifted you? What weighted you down? A question. In the last week, did anything delight you? Also, what intention do you wish to carry into this new week? Each Sunday we create space for reflection. We create time for sharing. Some of us on our virtual campus texted in joys, sorrows, concerns, gratitudes. Others of us stopped at the small table here on our Alluvial Ave campus. And this is a little of what is alive in our midst on this day. Bev Fitzpatrick on our virtual campus says her joy is having both Nicholas and Emma in my life. Someone anonymous from our virtual campus have a joy to share. We had a great time at Fresno Pride. And yeah. And Vicky has a gratitude and a joy. She says, thank you to all who came out to help man our table yesterday at the Pride Festival. Thanks to Jamie, Tina, John, Helen, Sharon, Cheyenne, Debbie, Patty, and Ron. Thank you all for setting up and being present. It was a glorious parade. It was so long. I've never seen it so long. Amazing. Jackie is feeling joyful today. We saw the new Wrinkles show. It's wonderful. You should go. Christine from our virtual campus, it has a joy for the Unitarian Universalist ministry and a concern that too few know about what Unitarian Universalism has done and is doing in this world. Andrea's feeling joyful, had a wonderful weekend visit from her son and his wife. Diana is sorrowful and concerned. Her son-in-law, Brett's mother, suddenly died, and he came in and found her and is devastated. So we hold Brett and his entire family in our thoughts, in our prayers. We also want to just acknowledge the economic hit to Fresno that occurred this week, the loss of 300 jobs at Bitwise, the impact on individuals, families, and the larger community, and what their mission was in trying to lift up people in Fresno to good-paying tech jobs. It's a great, great loss. We want to remember as well our beloveds, those among us who usually are unable to be with us in person. We think of Margaret H., Bev F., Glenda R., Pat M., and Babs E., who is with us today, and we're really happy about that. And we do again acknowledge this is Pride Month and also Caribbean American Heritage Month, so we celebrate that, both of those. And because I know there's so many master gardeners who are part of this congregation, and if you're not a master gardener and you're just a well-intentioned gardener, I know there's a lot of you as well, but that connection to the earth, we celebrate is National Gardening Week. So to anyone who gardens. And so for all that's been shared, for everything that we're holding in the silent sacredness of our hearts, we light our candle of community. As it burns, symbolizing this community, the love that is at the heart of this faith, let's join our voices in singing our call to meditation, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. Something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. What it's worth was all worth the while. Predictable, in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Hello again, I'm Emily Kaisinga, your worship associate this morning. As we prepare to help our young adults through their bridging ceremony, I can't help but think about my own children, ages 4 and 1, who are on the brink of beginning their involvement in our church. What will their experience here be over the years? What will this place look like in 2037 when my daughter is 18 and ready to participate in her own bridging ceremony? I hope it's still full of love and wonderful mentors for me and my kids to learn from. I hope it's even more vibrant and diverse, and that we've continued expanding our reach into the community. I hope the children's program continues to grow and rebounds back to new heights with greater numbers than we've seen before, so that my kids have a community and safe haven of like-minded peers to grow up with. This vision will require continued investment from all of us. If you are able, I invite you to join me in contributing this morning. If you've never contributed before, please consider this an invitation to do so. If you are a pledging member or friend of the church, as I am, think about sharing a little extra this morning to show your love for the church and your commitment to my vision for a bright future for the next generation of our youth. In the spirit of giving, let us join our voices in our call for offering, which will appear on the screen. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? In a moment, you will see a slide showing how you can make a financial contribution right now on our virtual campus, or if you are on the Alluvial Avenue campus, you can always drop a cash or check into the basket on your way out of the sanctuary. Or you can share generously right this moment by using Cash App. Just send your contribution to $UU Fresno. That's $UU Fresno. The morning offering will now be gratefully received. May this church continue to be worthy of the many forms of our gifts. I offer our reading today as a gift and blessing for our 2 graduating high school seniors, Emma and Nicholas. But I also offer it for all of us, for we too are in the midst of our own life journey, experiencing changes, growth, and anticipating the unknown. Beyond Borders by Rick Hoyt. Go forth, because we are always going forth from somewhere. Going from our homes, our childhoods, going from our cities and countries, going from innocence to experience to enlightenment, going into mystery and questions, going into the desert, getting to the other side. Go forth, leave behind the comfort and community of one place, head into the anxiety and loneliness of another. Carry with you the love and laughter of this place, and let it light your way. Carry with you the wisdom you learned and the good memories. May they give you strength for your journey. And when you have been away long enough, far enough, done what you've set off to do, been there so long that that place too starts to feel like home, come back. Come back to the one universal, everywhere and everyone, and everyone inclusive home, this beloved community of all creation that you can never really leave. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
One of our most beloved songs that we sing as Unitarian Universalists is Blue Boat Home. Many of you, if you are not familiar with it, will recognize the melody. Please rise in body or spirit and let us sing Blue Boat Home.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on the The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea above me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never a harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Please be seated. Today's high school bridging ceremony is an invitation to celebrate Emma and Nicholas, our graduating high school seniors. Today's bridging ceremony is also an invitation for all of us to reflect on the changes and transitions we are experiencing in our own lives. Nicholas and Emma will bridge from childhood into emerging adulthood. But what personal bridge is our life currently calling us to cross over? What are we being called to leave behind? And what new aspect of our life are we each being called to step into and begin exploring? As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the potential goodness within each person. We believe that the boundaries of human hearts can expand to hold more, encompass more, and love more. We say that no child born into this world is stained by original sin. We say every child is born into this world filled with original blessing. We affirm this blessing, this goodness, in our child dedication and naming ceremony. When a child is born or when their family becomes part of a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we often share together, if the parents or guardians so choose, a ceremony in which we rejoice in the promise and hope of every young child, and the congregation pledges to be worthy guardians of each young life, building a community in which every child will grow surrounded by beauty, embraced by love, and cradled in the arms of peace. Today's bridging ceremony is the culmination of that promise made to every child in this congregation. The bridging ceremony that we celebrate marks the transition of our youth into their emerging young adulthood. This can be a time of tremendous change, some stress, and lots of opportunity. The bridging ceremony is a rite of passage that welcomes Emma and Nicholas into the rewards and responsibilities of adult life. We understand that the bridge has two sides. On one side is childhood and adolescence. On the other side lies that vast frontier of young adulthood, full of the unknown, challenges, and opportunities. We, the adult members of this congregation, are also on the other side of this bridge. We gather with our arms open to welcome them, with our minds prepared to mentor and learn from them. And our hearts are prepared to share life together and walk alongside them in this new way. So, let's meet our high school graduates that you've heard so much about already. So first, it will be Emma, and then Nicholas. So, I invite Emma and her parents to stand. Emma, it's the tradition in this congregation for you to share with us your answers to 3 important questions. The first, Emma, what does this church mean to you?
What does this church mean to me? I don't even know how to begin to answer that. Growing up, my family was really involved in this church. My mom was the DRE for several years, and I started attending when I was under a year old. Between Sunday services, my sister and I spent hours, on weeks, on years here. I played in every room of this church. We played mermaids in this very sanctuary. We played witches and wizards in every classroom. We fought and battled down every single corridor. It means hot summers of melted popsicles and the smell of bleach and tie-dye. It means learning to light a match in this vestry and also learning how to avoid burning myself. I made my first friends in this church, and I learned how it hurt to grow up and apart from them. I also learned to cry at anything. I learned love, and I learned inspiration. From the leaders of this church. We sang the principal song and lit the chalice every week for whatever good happened. I was a child in this church. I got lost in the orchard. I made a graveyard for the doves I found on the sidewalk. And we memorized the names in the memorial garden. When we were bored. I am still a child of this church, although it doesn't feel as large and as looming. It means home. It means respite. It means the childlike glow of curiosity. This church means growth. It means the joy of beginning and the sorrow of changing. This church has loved me through my rough stages, awkward middle school haircuts, and when I was really hard to love. My heart has the shape of this church indented in it. My spirit has grown around the walls of the sanctuary and has expanded out the doorways. I think this church means to love and be loved, wholly and truly, divinely and truthfully. I realized I just meant this before I had words to describe it, and I know I'll mean it for the rest of my life.
Emma, what is one meaningful thing you've learned from your Unitarian Universalist faith?
My life has been so widely expanded by my experiences with Unitarian Universalism. My knowledge of the world and my capacity for understanding have bloomed due to the teachings of this religion. It's a special privilege to be raised so open-minded and loving, I think. To be taught love and empathy from the very beginning, to grow up surrounded by other UUs who agreed with my principles, was truly a pleasure. I've learned our common values of kindness and truth are foundational to my relationships and surpass my understanding and religion of holiness or divinity. I've learned that honesty and trust are some of the greatest tools for healing and growing. I've been allowed to grow into a person who values kindness and respect, despite interpersonal or ideological differences. Never love despite our differences, but because of them. I've learned to close the gap between understanding one another and just tolerating. This is hard and lifelong work, and I'm not a master of it by now. I'll never stop growing and changing and finding better ways to understand and love the world I'm lucky to live in.
Emma, one final question. What is one important value that you will use to guide you as you continue to mature as an adult?
My sense of justice has always been a huge part of who I am and how I understand our UU principles. As I've grown, my understanding of politics and economic theory has only built on that foundational part of myself. It's giving me tools to see my values physically manifest in the world. Idle kindness does not feed the hungry. Thoughts and prayers do not house the unhomed. Colonel West said, "Justice is what love looks like in action." My life cannot be lived passively, and I have learned that from my UU principles.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
I now invite Emma's parents to join Emma at the pulpit as you attempt to offer words from your beautiful hearts.
Okay. Oh, Emma. My love for you, your compassion, your wisdom, your whimsy is infinite. My wishes for you are vast and almost indescribable. A mother's love is without boundaries, without definition. So today I'll use the words of Sarah Kay to share my dreams for you. If I should have a daughter, instead of Mom, she's going to call me Point B, because that way she knows that no matter what happens, she can always find her way to me. And I'm going to paint the solar systems on the backs of her hands, so she has to learn the entire universe before she can say, "Oh, I know that like the back of my hand." And she's going to learn that this life will hit you hard, in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air. And baby, I'll tell her, don't keep your nose up in the air like that. I know that trick. I've done it a million times. You're just smelling for smoke so you can follow the trail to a burning house. But I know she will anyway. So instead, I'll always keep an extra supply of chocolates and rain boots nearby, because there's no heartbreak that chocolate can't fix. Okay, there's a few heartbreaks that chocolate can't fix, but that's what the rain boots are for, because the rain will wash away everything if you let it. I want her to look at the world through the underside of a glass-bottom boat, to look through a microscope at the galaxies that exist on the pinpoint of a human mind. Because that's the way my mom taught me, that there'll be days like this, my mama said, when you open up your hands to catch and wind up with only blisters and bruises. And when you step out of the phone booth and try and fly, the very people you want to save sometimes are standing on your cape. When your boots will fill with rain and you'll be up to your knees in disappointment, and those are the very days that you have all the more reason to say thank you. Because there's nothing more beautiful than the way the ocean refuses to stop kissing the shoreline, no matter how many times it is sent away. And you will put the wind, and win some, lose some. You will put the star in starting over and over. And no matter how many landmines erupt in a minute, be sure your mind lands on the beauty of this funny place called life. And yes, on a scale from 1 to over-trusting, I'm pretty damn naive. But I want her to know that this world is made out of sugar and it can crumble so easily. But don't be afraid to stick out your tongue and taste it. Baby, I'll tell her, remember your mama is a worrier and your papa is a warrior. And you're the girl, with the small hands and the big eyes who never stops asking for more. Remember that good things come in threes and so do bad things, and always apologize when you've done something wrong. But don't ever, ever apologize for the way your eyes refuse to stop shining. Your voice is small, but don't stop singing. And when they finally hand you a heartache, when they slip war and hatred under the door and offer you handouts on street corners of cynicism and defeat, you tell them that they really ought to meet your mother.
I now invite Nicholas and his parents to stand. He can't wait for those questions. Nicholas, it's the tradition of this congregation for you to share with us your answers to 3 important questions. The first, what does this church mean to you?
This church and the community at UUCF is very meaningful to me. It has provided me with a spiritual connection to Unitarian Universalism, giving me an outlet to express my ideas and understand others. Here, I have learned the importance of the 7 going on 8 principles of the Unitarian Universalism and the meaning behind them. Through this understanding, I have been able to grow and mature into a young adult surrounded by a supportive community. The congregation here is like no other. I have met so many amazing people and have come to the conclusion that Unitarian Universalists are just awesome.
Nicholas, what is one meaningful thing you've learned from your Unitarian Universalist faith?
The most meaningful thing I've learned from Unitarian Universalism is simply the idea that just because people have a different opinion does not mean they're wrong. Now, regardless of how wrong I think they may be, they have a reason for what they're saying, and I have found that learning to understand them and their opinion is crucial. It can give insight into who they are as a person, how they operate, and what their life looks like. Knowing this information can help you understand why they have their opinions. This topic has come up in Reverend Tim's sermons regarding perspective and empathy, 2 topics that aren't really discussed in grade school.
Nicholas, what is one important value that you will use to guide you as you continue to mature as an adult?
The value of persistence and determination are values that I have worked to strengthen my entire life. I consider myself to be a determined individual, and I try to prove that as much as possible. That being said, lots of practice is needed. During my time in school, I have needed to practice persistence through such tasks as earning good grades, scholarships, and respect from other individuals. Adversity is among us. This practice will be beneficial for me in my future studies at Fresno State as a Schmidt Camp Scholar and in my future career path as an agricultural engineer.
So I invite Nicholas's parents to join Nicholas at the pulpit as you offer your words from your heart.
Good morning. Oh, Mama, how did you do this? Handsome, could you stand right here so I can see you? On October 18th, 2005, you made me a mom. It was my new best day ever. Because of you, I experienced a love I couldn't even dream existed. I loved you for all that you were then, and certainly all that you have become. So here are some characteristics that your dad and I admire about you. You are an independent thinker. You have often had interests and views that were very different from others your age. And as you have matured, we have seen you more fully embrace that uniqueness. You're an old soul. You are practical and take time to think things through. Keeping up with the Joneses is never even on your radar. And you are so deeply empathetic that sometimes meanness and injustice in the world is painful. But I want you to always take care of that sensitive, compassionate soul. You are strong. You have a deep desire to be useful. All those happy chemicals shoot off in your brain, particularly when your skills and efforts help others. Designing and manufacturing all that Bullard swag for the student store, coaching the girls' tennis team, putting those crazy glasses on when your mama needed to be cheered up, and that incredible bond you built with Kevin when he was so sick. The hours you spent talking together and learning about life from him, helping him quite literally prepare for his death. It was so very beautiful the way you loved each other. We think you feel your best when you are helping others. You are curious and creative and so very clever. I love when you build things out of stuff just lying around the house, or sometimes liberated from others' basements and backyards. Wisely upcycled, some might say. The enormous Christmas decorations out in the yard, that hat for your water polo coach with a fan inside, designing and creating the entire pond habitat for Tallulah out back, that's his turtle. Of course, your model train layouts at Grandma's, and the way you save parts from machines and motors to use for other things, and they somehow actually work, that amazes me. You are a skillful problem solver. Remember when you were a toddler and we would make a problem-solving team? When you had a question that you couldn't, or a problem you couldn't solve yourself, Mommy was always the first on the team. And then we would brainstorm who else might be helpful. Or what resources that we could use. Well, as you have matured, we are amazed at how you have learned, absorbing like a sponge, asking questions, doing research, and how you advocate for yourself at school, in sports, at work, in the community. You get stuff done. And now your dad wants to talk for a minute.
Okay, Nicholas, so we have done a lot of stuff together, you and me. But I think the two activities that stand out the most as building blocks in our relationship are music and pickleball. It's been so awesome watching you grow as a musician. The loudest applause my band would ever get was when you and I played bluegrass during the break from the band. Even though you don't play fiddle that much these days, I still love that we get to play together here at church. But now on to pickleball. Oh my. I've never really talked to you about this before, Nicholas, but I so treasure the fact that we developed this, well, let's call it what it is, an addiction together. I feel so fortunate that we spend time together while most teens are doing their own thing and not hanging out with their lame dad. You know, it all started during the pandemic when he made this homemade net out of PVC pipe and sheets. And we would play for hours out in the driveway, screaming and yelling at each other. And that was the last time I was able to beat you. Now I've watched as you have grown in pickleball while I've grown at this rate. And you grew like this. It has been amazing to watch you improve so much faster than me. Well, mostly amazing there's a pinch of bruised ego sprinkled in there. I have to admit, as you began dominating me in pickleball, I absolutely went through the 5 stages of grief. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally now today, acceptance. He has now become my personal coach and teacher, but back to you, honey.
You are a beautiful human and an impressive leader. We can't wait to see how you navigate your future. You have rocked our world, and as you embark on the next chapter of life at Fresno State, living away from home, your world will get bigger, and you will rock that too. As you move more fully into adulthood, our wish for you is happiness, a sense of connectedness in beloved community, self-compassion, and success, whatever that means to you. Follow your passions, work hard, play hard, be kind. Protect your integrity. It's hard to turn back, and when you are wrong or make a mistake, own it, humbly apologize, and move on. Don't let it define you. Embrace life. We are so very proud of you. And if you need your mama to grab a ballpoint pen when you feel a little scared going out into the world alone and draw a happy face on your shoulder, like the old days, to remind you that I'm always here for you, I'd be honored. The world awaits. We love you, handsome. Thank you.
I invite Emma to come on up. And Adeline, our board president, will lead us in words of blessing.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Los invito a levantarse en cuerpo o espíritu. Let us speak together the words of blessing for Emma and Nicholas as they appear on the screens. We, the members and friends of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, offer this blessing to you. Go forth, Emma and Nicholas. Carry with you the love and laughter of this place, and let it light your way. Carry with you the wisdom you gained and the good memories. May they give you strength for your journey. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. We invite you to remain in community with us, even if your life takes you miles away. May you be filled with possibilities, love, and courage. Nicholas and Emma, to the end of your days, may you carry our blessing with you. Que así sea, bendito sea, may it be so, blessed be. Amen.
Now we create our human bridge. First, we're going to ask anybody who identifies as a young adult, that's anybody from the age of 18 to 43, every year it gets bigger, to go right down where Betty is here at the front doors of the sanctuary and out into the vestry where you will greet Emma and Nicholas as they bridge down the center aisle. So all young adults, we invite you as you're comfortable to... And let's give an applause for our young adults. There's a lot of them. And now I'm going to invite the family and also anyone who taught either Emma or Nicholas in our spirit school to come down and join here in the front for the beginning of the bridge representing childhood. Wonderful. Now, as you are comfortable, I'm going to invite everybody else to kind of move towards the center, and then if you would take your hand as you're comfortable and just place it on the shoulder of the person in front of you so that we're all linked together, sort of our energy, and imagining that the love in our hearts will also be flowing from everyone to this center aisle. And then anybody who is flanking the aisle, if you just hold with your palm up your hand, all that love, channeling it into the center of the aisle. So, Emma and Nicholas, in a moment, you will walk through this bridge of human hearts and hands. As you begin that symbolic journey, and as Leslie begins light piano underscoring, we present you with two gifts. The first is a rose, please. And if you could deliver those. As Unitarian Universalists, when we dedicate children in our child blessing ceremony, we give the child a rose, but we remove all the thorns from that rose. But today, your rose has thorns. Sorry. These thorns are symbolic of the challenges you will encounter as you continue on your life's journey, things that may hurt, startle, or give pause. But this rose is also the symbol of our love. As you go forward, may it remind you that you walk in love and that there is a love always holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. We offer you a second gift. Enclosed in this soft cloth bag is a chalice, the symbol of our shared Unitarian Universalist faith. This wooden chalice is in the shape of two cupped hands, open and ready to receive the blessings and bounty of the universe. May you, your whole life, stay open, keeping your heart and mind open in a similar way. The open space of your chalice holds a stone, and that stone will help ground you to the earth in those moments when things seem off balance. The stone holds a candle whose flame represents the warmth of our love for you. Light this chalice when you want to remind yourself that you are good and that you are loved. And so, Emma, I invite you to stand on the top step. Emma, you are ready now. As you leave this chancel, you leave your childhood behind. As you walk down the aisle, you enter into your young adulthood. The steps that you will take are all your own. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and that pure light within you guide your way on. I invite you to the top step. You are ready now. As you leave this chancel, you leave behind your childhood. As you walk down that aisle, you enter into your young adulthood. The steps that you take now will be your own. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and that pure light that is within you guide your way on. Let's have some applause for the newest young adults. So I'm going to invite all of us, young adults included, to return to our seats as we begin singing John Lennon's Imagine.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. Folks with empty hands. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, or folks with empty hands. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the whole world will live as one. We'll live as one.
Please be seated.
Thank you for joining us this morning, whether in person or online. What an honor to celebrate Emma and Nicholas and be part of the love that surrounds them and their families as they enter this next chapter of their lives. As we prepare to end our service and enter into our afternoon, please join us in our chalice extinguishing words led by Karen and Troy.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Here's a wave to everyone on our virtual campus and those watching later on Facebook or YouTube. We love you and cherish you. Tim, I believe you have some reminders before our closing words.
I do, but first, could we appreciate Emily as our worship associate? Ever so briefly, our smaller socially distanced section, if we let them leave first and then everyone can leave after that. We hope you will join us outside in the quad or courtyard for coffee hour. There will also be a question and answer table with board member Patty Potter. Wow, you get to hang out with Patty Potter. If you are new or newish and you have questions about the church or Unitarian Universalism, Patty at the big table with the turquoise tablecloth and the sign that says visitors. Now, as you may know, Patty Bennett, who has served the last 7 years as our coordinator of community life, is retiring in July. I am so happy to introduce Cecily Callahan. Please come on up. Woo. Cecily will be our incoming coordinator of community life. Welcome to the staff team. If you are new or newish to the church, Cecily is going to be the person who answers questions, connects you, and help you move from this feeling like a place that you visit to a place that you belong. Once again, let's warmly welcome Cecily. Great. Last but not least, we'd like to welcome folks who are with us for the first, second, or third time. We do it not to embarrass you. We're genuinely glad you're here. So if it is your first, second, or third time, and I know you're out there, could you just rise for a moment? We won't leave you standing alone for long. Welcome, 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 welcome. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them for our closing words and our sung benediction. If you feel comfortable, please join hands. If you prefer, you can place your hands over your heart. Go forth with these words by Rick White. Go forth because we are always going forth from somewhere, going forth from our homes, from one chapter of life to the other, going into the mysteries and the questions, getting to the other side. Go forth and carry the love of this place with you and let it light your way. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Let's sing.
May we have safe passage, safe on our way. Safe passage on your way, wanderer. Safe passage on your way, searcher. Safe passage on your way, sweet pilgrim. Safe passage on our way. May we have safe passage. Safe, safe passage. May we have safe passage. Safe passage on our way. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum.